Hey guys, what's up? It's Rhett here with another video. Two quick things. About 30% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. Please subscribe if you're new. And leave John Collins trade ideas in the comments section. But getting on to it, this is the off season, and this is where fans speculate. And we were an Eastern Conference Finals team, and it looks like we might need a second superstar, and we have guys who can do it. So my next three videos are going to be on 3 superstar players to trade for. Don't kill me with some of the players in the trades, but this is what, these are the trades that have been leaked and stuff that people think would get it done. Starting off, my first video is going to be Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has, the Jazz think he could be on the way out, that he doesn't want to stay in Utah because he doesn't like how they handled his knee injury, and he's still kind of not great with the players on the team like Gobert and stuff for what he did last year. And when you look at it, Utah got to the second round. I'm trying to remember who they played in the first round, or they were the 1 seed, and their ceiling is like the Hawks team when they won 60 games, I think. Yes, Donovan Mitchell's a superstar, but when you get to the cream of the crop of the West, they're not better than a lot of the teams. They're not better than Phoenix, LA, both LAs. Maybe Dallas would beat them, and Denver healthy might beat them. And so you look at it, and he might request a trade in the next year or two because, and D. Wade, who's an owner, believes he could. And Atlanta would be a great spot. One, because him and Trae Young are very good friends, like best friends in the league and stuff. And he could want to come to Atlanta because he could look at Atlanta and say, it's in the Eastern Conference, which is weaker. Look what they built. Look what they have. I could go there, win a championship. And a player like him would bring this team probably a championship. So what would it take? A reported trade would be John Collins sign and trade, Kevin Huerter sign and trade, and Cam Reddish, plus 2 first-round picks. And here's what I'm going to say, because I know people in here want John to get paid. People love Cam. The reality of it, this is giving up too much, in my opinion, for him. Donovan Mitchell's an amazing player, but it leaves you less depth. If I was going to make a trade like this for Donovan Mitchell, I would take Huerter out, because John Collins is a great player who is a young player, can still develop there if they had to go to a rebuild, or if they wanted to be good, and maybe do something with Clarkson or Conley, and maybe give it a go with them. But if they had to rebuild, they could have John and be good. Cam Reddish, we love Cam. His potential's crazy. He probably has the second best ceiling on our team right now. But the thing is, Cam Reddish played great at the end of last year, sucked at the beginning of this year. Played great in the playoffs. He had that last game, he played amazing. The first game he wasn't very good, but he hadn't played in 4 months. His second game he was pretty good, but not as efficient. That third game he was amazing. He carried us in game 6. And you could look at Cam and say, hey, do we want to develop him for this long? Do we want to develop him for this long, for another year or two before he's like good, where he's just coming off the bench as like a 6th man, and then when Bogey's gone, he goes in? Or would you want to try to ship him out now because his value's at the highest peak it's at? And you could risk him being Tyler Hero or a Ben Simmons type player where his value drops after next year because he comes down to earth. But if he goes out on a high note, people could be like, he could be great. He could be great. And he could be. But if you could get Donovan Mitchell, who's a bona fide superstar, who can get you 30, 40, 50 points in a game, that's what you need. Because when Trae went down, we didn't have another second scoring option. Yes, Hunter was out. But if you had Donovan Mitchell, this Hawks team would have won. And then you look at the team after that. And Kevin Huerter would be in the trade. But I think you have to keep him because you still need some depth. Because if you get rid of Huerter, you would start Trae, Donovan Mitchell, Bogey, Hunter, and Capella. Then your bench would probably be Lou Will, Onyeka, and Gallinari, which two of them are good. Lou Will's not very good. And then maybe you sign two veterans and you're like, hey, this is the team that's going to give it a go. We're going to go sign like a D Rose type player, a Jay Crowder. And we're going to get some veterans off the bench who can go in and play ball and don't need too many minutes, and we go in with the starters. But I think if you kept Kevin Huerter, you would win this trade. Maybe you throw in 3 first-round picks, John and Cam, for Donovan Mitchell. Because if you kept Kev off the bench, he's a shooting option who can play 1 through 3. So, and the bench wouldn't, I guess if they got D Rose or somebody, you would have a more scoring option, but he would be the safest option to keep if you could, because he could go in for Bogey. He could go in for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell could run the 1, he could run the 2, and it gives you so many more lineup options if you kept Kev. Because if you get rid of him, then you're just finding a piece here or there, trying to find somebody who isn't as consistent. So I think you would try to keep Kev if you could, but our owners has talked about they want to bring a championship here. They're willing to spend money. I don't think this is a trade that will happen, but this is a trade that could need to happen. And I'm not saying Utah will trade him this year. I think Utah will run it back another year or two, and if they're not good, like say next year they're like a 4 seed, he could request a trade after next year. If they turned into, then he could run it back, and if they're a 4 seed again, he could say, hey, this isn't it. I want out. Then you bring him in. I don't think they get rid of him right away because they want him, and he is a superstar. They were a 1 seed. But this is just a fun trade idea to think about. I'd love to see him and Trey, second superstar. But, this team got to the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 games away, a foot injury away from championship. So you probably don't need a guy like this. And Cam Reddish could develop into something special, so you never know. Thanks for watching. I'll have another video like this in the next day or two. Peace.